Hello, guys. I welcome you to today's special edition of Beyond the Veil. Beyond this veil, everything begins to make sense. Have you wondered why certain things happen? Have you wondered why somebody is born rich and the other born poor? Have you ever wondered why certain things happen to certain people? Why the gradations of life? I have imagined so many times, and the questions, the responses I keep getting is that it's the will of God. That's how God designed it. That's how God wills it. And they go ahead to quote scriptures. He blesses whom he decides to bless. He despises whom he decides to despise. And then I ask, why the injustice? Because from the responses, it is clearly stated that there is injustice in the blessings of God. So many things happening at so many times, and we keep asking, why do these things happen? Why this? Why that? This is what we want to look at in this video. God is just. There are certain forces that create man. There are certain forces that put man in a position where he needs to be. There are certain things that makes life put you in a particular class. We want to look at those things. First of all, I need to tell you that in order to flow along with me, you need to be playing. In order to reason with me, you need to put aside whatever you feel you know, or whatever you think. Let's reason together. So come close, let's reason together. Today, I want to speak on a topic that says, the determinants of faith. The determinants of faith. F-A-T-E. What are those things that determines your faith? What are those things that determines your life? What are those things that makes certain things happen? What are those forces that make certain things happen in your life? That is what we want to look at. Number one, I need to make you understand, if you study the world, specifically the educational system of the world, you will discover that there is what we call the schooling system. And in this schooling system, men are placed in different grades according to their inner development, their age, their academic performance. These are things that determines the grades that men are being placed into. From the primary school, the secondary, the tertiary, and whatever. So the educational system is there for us to see as a standpoint. Now, let's look at the natural environment we have around us. Okay, let's look at the natural environment. We'll look at the trees. Okay, we'll look at the planting and the reaping. We'll look at all these things. And then we'll come to a conclusion. Now, first of all, I want to tell you that life has its grading system. I was thinking and I was reasoning, why do these things happen? I discovered that life has its grading system. Life grades man according to his inner development. We are all in the school of life, and we are all graded according to our inner development, according to our inner capabilities and capacities. That is the first thing you need to know. Now, what are the things that makes life great? What are the factors that have been put in place that determines this gradation? Okay? Now you need to understand that there are certain laws that are in existence in creation. There are certain laws in existence in creation. We're going to look at these laws in subsequent teachings. Today we just want to look at the determinants of faith. Now these laws work in a steady manner, without fault, unshakable. These laws are constant. In it there are no faults. Now, you should understand that we have the law of homogeneous attraction, and then we have the law of sowing and reaping, and so many other laws. Today we're going to look at sowing and reaping. If a child in a class is not performing well, they give him the first exam and he doesn't do well, the second, the third. In an ideal school, something needs to be done. The child might be asked to repeat the class, okay, until the child develops the qualities that are needed for the next class. In an ideal school, nature is ideal, and it should be our standpoint. All right? Then, there are certain things that determines this gradation, and that is the law of sowing and reaping. Whatever a man soweth, that he shall reap. Whatever a man soweth, that he shall reap. There is no injustice in it. It is the things that man has sown over the years that he is reaping. These are the things that forms his faith. In your thoughts, in your words, and your deeds, they classify to form your faith. And they present a table before you to feed from, of which you must, by the law of homogeneous attraction and sowing and reaping, you must feed from it. Now, there is something I came to realize, that many think that we just have an earth life to live. But that is not the truth. After here, we are not talking about heaven or hell or whatever we might think. We are talking about a constant system that keeps rotating until we develop. So now we need to understand that we are in a school of life, passing through the process of development, so that we become conscious. Just like a child in the school has to develop to become conscious. We are passing through this school so that we become conscious and become mature spirits once again. Until this is achieved, we keep repeating the class. We keep repeating the class. Now I need you to get a point. Your present life determines your next grade. The thoughts, the words, the deeds of your present class determines your next grade, where life will grade you next. That you now need to experience, you now need to go through in order to become knowing. Let me put it that way. In order to become conscious. There is something we need to understand, that whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we act on earth is right there waiting for us. It's like a seed we are planting that will germinate. Of course, just like a seed planted by the roadside, other people might come, pluck, all right, and eat from it. But it is ours. As long as it is ours, we have to pluck and eat from it. It is ours. Nature has to compel us to feed from the seed which we have planted. That is the first thing we need to understand. And these are the things that culminate to form our faith. These are the things that comes together to form our faith. And makes nature decide the next place to grade us. And that is why somebody is born here, the other is born there, somebody goes here, somebody reincarnates here. These are different gradations of nature. And each experience is important for our inner maturing. Therefore, for every experience you are having today, you need to understand that there is something nature is pointing at. There is something we need to learn. There is an inner nature we need to change. And that is what makes us mature. These are the things that determines the next grading system until we become mature. Now we have been able to realize the importance of our thoughts, our words, and our deeds in our everyday life. We have also been able to realize how these thoughts, words, and these seeds we sow also affect our neighbors, affect our environment. Because I mentioned earlier that a seed planted that grows can also be fed by other, from other passerbys. Let me put it that way. Okay, but definitely the owner of the tree will be compelled by nature to feed from it. Our thoughts, our words, and our deeds are very important in shaping our faith, in shaping our destinies, in shaping our gradation in our subsequent lives. Take this message important. It is very helpful for you to understand that you are not just, let me put it this way, you are not just there as you are not just having a particular earth life. You are having multiples of earth life behind you, and possibly multiples of earth life after you, depending on what nature decides to serve you based on your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. These are the things that determines our faith. These are the things that makes everything happen. The laws of God in nature, in creation, are constant. They are unshakable. They work in a steady manner. God has presented these laws before us. God has presented this before us. It's left for us to understand once again how to live. May the Almighty bless these words in our hearts and keep it, so that we will once again learn how to live and how to live right. See you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.